Welcome to the Teddy Keaton Show. I'm Sylvester Williams, Slider Sports Guy, and I am joined by the one and only Coach Teddy Keaton. How you doing, Coach?
I've been better.
I know you have, Coach. I know you have. Boy.
I've seen good days. I've seen bad days. But I won't complain.
Ain't nobody going to listen if you do complain, Coach. Ain't nobody going to listen. Well, one of them shows, Coach. One of them shows. We had a weekend, Coach. Had a weekend. You invited the Benedict Tigers to Clark Atlanta University Panther Stadium, and it did not turn out the way we wanted to, Coach.
No, it didn't. It didn't turn out. It was a disaster, if you ask me. I'm not an outcome-focused guy. I'm a process guy. I think that a lot of times coaches and players become transitional, and I don't want to become transitional. I wanted to be about the process, and I knew we had, a lot of things that were working in our, us doing what we're trying to do to build Clark Atlanta into what we want to take it in. And, we're going to have some struggles along the way. It ain't going to be as easy, but we're still working, and the kids are still working hard, and we're going to continue to make sure we do that.
Well, Coach, let's jump on into it. Might as well not hold off. Coach started off, Clark Atlanta won the toss and deferred, kicked it off, and to get the things going, a 92-yard kickoff return, Coach.
Right out the gate. I don't know. I felt funny about it at first. And we've switched a lot of people on there. Due to injuries, we've had a lot of guys we've had to move around, play them in places that we typically wouldn't play them at. I'm so glad we're at the bye week now that maybe we can get some people healed up and get them back on the field. But he took it straight out the gate. Blocked it well, did a good job. Hat goes out they go, I think, 80, 90 yards for a touchdown.
92. Ugh. Well, Coach, you get it back, and this time you guys get the ball. You start off with it, and then you hand it off to Allen Riggins. Allen Riggins, 12-yard run to start the game, Coach. That's always a good sign, seeing you start back getting a big run, but then the offense kind of bogged down. You went 3 more plays, had to punt it away. Now, this time when you punt it away, Benedict will get it at the 36. They'll work their way down the field, moving around. They start off with a 43-yard pass, and this is kind of be a sign of things to come, the big play. Benedict knocks off a few big plays. They'll get it down to 2nd and 3, 2nd and goal on the 3-yard line, and they'll push it on in. Benedict, 14-0 already, Coach. It's not looking good for the home squad.
No, we don't. Like I told you, we don't play the scoreboard. We play we trust our process. They kept playing. We kept telling the kids we don't negative coach. Guys, just keep playing good things that happen. Play the next play. That's what we kept saying. We know bad things are going to happen in the game. Yeah, do you want them to happen that often and that fast? No, you don't. But at the end of the day, you got to tell the kids to keep playing, and that's what they did.
Well, you told them to keep playing, and sure enough, they really did, Coach. Now they get the ball, and now you start to move down the field. You get your offense going a little bit. Riggins runs the ball. Then you'll throw it to Kanan Johnson. Kanan Johnson didn't get to hear his name a lot, but Kanan Johnson catches a pass for 18 yards, and then Riggins will run again. You hit Amon Harris one more time for 25 yards, and then you get it 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. And then we kind of stall out right there at the 21-yard line, a couple of incomplete passes. Then you bring in Carlos Lopez. Lopez jumps in, knocks a 37-yard field goal, Coach. Knocked down the field goal. Now you're on the scoreboard. Carlos Lopez, freshman, handling the kicking responsibility. A lot of pressure on that young man, and he's handling it all.
Well, we all knew. Like I said, a lot of the teams out there is playing as freshmen. They're no longer a freshman after they play that first game. And Carlos has done a good job for us from day one. He come from a good program. So he's came in, he's put in that work. And I think he's adding value as an individual to create value for the team, and he's doing a really good job at that.
All right, now we'll move on to the next series. Benedict will have it, and then after a big sack from Curtis Way, then you'll have another rush up the middle for about a 1-yard gain. You get an interception, but then they bring it back for pass interference. There's an interception. I think Malik Mullins, got the interception. But then they brought it back for pass interference, and then Benedict kind of makes you pay. They don't wait too long. 3 plays later, 42-yard pass for a touchdown. So you got kind of caught off. Now the score is 21-3, 21-3 still in the first quarter, Coach. You want to move the ball down the field one more time with your offense. You pick up a couple of first downs, but then you bog down one more time on the offense and you have to punt it away. And then that'll do it probably the end of the first quarter. Score 21-3, Benedict on top. But that was a tough first quarter, but your guys showed some signs. They showed some signs. They were digging in, trying to make things happen. So Benedict will get the ball, started the second period. Benedict's moving the ball down the field. They advance and they get a couple of key runs here, a couple of key passes here. They'll get it all the way down to the 27-yard line, and then on the 30-yard line, and then on 4th and 3, the defense holds. They stop them for a 2-yard gain, turnover on downs. Your defense stepped up big when you needed them, Coach.
There's no doubt about it. Again, they're all just learning how to play together. I'm proud of that. We needed that momentum to change, and we got to stop there, so now we go back on offense.
All right, we're back on offense. Now we want to move the ball around, and then you'll start off with a 15-yard pass to David Martin, and then another short pass, a 12-yard pass to Ronnie West. Then Jeremiah Gibbs will get a chance to run the ball, and Gibbs, he'll pick up 4 yards, and then that's when the big one happened. Israel, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I don't know, but he was a big boy. He went out there, made a sack. Boom, ball popped out, and he took it back to the house, 40-something yards for a touchdown. Now the score's 28-3, Coach. 28-3. You got a young line, and they played some grown men over there on Benedict. Benedict had some grown men out there.
There's no doubt. I mean, with a young quarterback, he held on to it just a tad second too long. Sometimes he had to get it out of there. And with that young old line, and they playing the stunts and games they played against them, they really was, catching the day. We early and often. Anything that could have went bad, and anything that we could do to stop it, we was just telling them to hang in there and keep playing.
All right, now you'll have it one more time. They'll kick off, and this time you fumbled the ball on the kickoff and gave it right back to them, Coach. It's like when it rains, it starts to pour, Coach. It doesn't.
It wasn't just pouring. It was a tsunami out there. I'm talking about. I just didn't know whether our focus was there or something. Just was they nervous? Because I don't know what it was. We had to just bring them to the sideline and ask them, well, what's going on? We need to focus back up. And I think they heard us a little bit, but I don't really have an answer. And we'll start working through some of these things on Monday. And we had, there was Gibbs who fumbled the ball on the kickoff. It was his first time back. Gibbs hadn't played all season, and we just got him back from being healthy. So now he gets out there and anxious to make a play, and then he goes out there and he fumbles the football.
Now, Coach, Benedict will have the ball 1st and 10, 8 minutes, 37 seconds to go in the first half. They're up 28-3. Coach, let's be honest. Right now is rollover time, Coach. Right now, a lesser team would say the game over with. Let's go home. Let's see what party is happening on campus tonight, Coach.
The one thing I've always vowed on a Teddy Keaton coach team or a lead team, I would never allow my team to quit. The past, Clark Atlanta, we all know the typical history of Clark Atlanta. They would have rolled over, and it would have been the end of the game, and the game would have been 59 or whatever it was, 3. But at the end of the day, we don't roll over and quit. We just keep playing the next play, and that's what I try to teach. I'm trying to get our kids, especially at a young age, to be more processing, and not results-oriented. And that's a hard thing to teach a young man when he wants to go out. He wants to win every game. There's things you learn from wins and there's things you learn from losses. But being a process guy and understanding the process, and sometimes the process is not always going to go in your favor. So you still got to play the game and finish your drives and do what you're supposed to do.
All right, now, Coach, they'll have the ball 1st and 10 right around the 50-yard line, on the 47-yard line, and things get a little sticky. Trying to figure out what type of team Clark Atlanta is, down 28-3. They'll start off with a short gain, and then Cameron Williams will come up, and Cameron Williams makes a big sack for a loss. Then Ocean, he'll throw an incomplete pass, and the defense holds for a 3-and-out. forces Benedict to punt the ball away. Now you guys will have it. You'll start out 1st and 10 on the 20 after a touchback, and now Jackson will start to go to work. He'll start to hook up with Krishan Sellers. Keep that combination in mind right there. 2 freshmen, one from Tampa, one from South Fulton down there. They'll hook up for 5 yards, and then they'll throw again. They'll get an offsides. That'll help out the offense a little bit. Allen Riggins will get another rush. He'll pick up 3. And then they'll hit Ronnie West for about a 6-yard gain. Then Trayvon Pender back into the mix of things. And Pender, he'll pick up about 16 yards. You'll run it one more time with Riggins. And then on 2nd and 11, ball at the 46-yard line, Xavier Jackson, he'll line up and complete a deep pass down the middle, 46 yards to Krishan Sellers for a touchdown. Sellers with a touchdown reception. What can you say about that combination, Coach?
I just think that, Krishan is playing really good football. He's a young man that joined us right here from South Fulton down at Langston Hughes High School. Kind of got looked a little under-recruited, I thought, as a player. And then when we got him, I saw him in the first couple of days, and we compare him to Jamar Chase. He's a guy that got really, really good, exceptional skills. He can play DB, wide receiver. He's just a talented guy. He had the punt returns. He can do kick returns. He can do everything that it is you want to do. And I think my freshmen, they've been throwing at each other on the scout team and different things for a while. And now he's gotten out there and they get to connect. It looks like practice every day.
There you go. Well, that was big. That made the score 28-10. 28-10. Now you'll give it back to Benedict. They'll have a 5-play drive this time, but the defense still holds. They give up 1 first down, but the defense steps up big, and that's that mentality, that not quit mentality. Down, now you're down 28-10, and they realize, okay, we got a chance at this thing. So the defense is out there struggling and pushing on forward, and then they force a punt. Defense forces a punt. They'll give it to you 1st and 10. 1st and 10, 2 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the half. Got a chance to see if you can score. So now you'll throw a incomplete pass, but you'll have a holding on that call. You'll have a holding on that one, and then that'll give you first down, 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line, and Jackson, he'll set up one more time. This time, Jackson, he'll find that kid one more time, Krishan Sellers, and this time he'll hit him for a 70-yard touchdown pass. And Krishan Sellers puts a little bit of move on, and then he turns on the Jets and makes it on to the end zone. Touchdown for that young freshman one more time. Man, nothing wrong with that. The young freshman doing a little fancy handshake at the end. And look at the crowd support. You had once again, your student body showing up big. You're having a nice crowd out there. Winning brings some people out there, Coach.
I think it's the atmosphere that we've created since we've been there to make them understand that, they are the reasons that these kids play. They want to be the reason, so we want them to be the reasons. And they come out, they come with their signs, the spirit boosters. Shout out to all the students at Clark Atlanta. They have really gotten behind this program and this team. I know we let you down 2 weeks in a row, and I know that hurts, but at the same time, we got to go through the storms and we got to weather them, and we're going to continue to get better for you.
All right. Well, Coach, you'll line up to kick it off. And this time, I'm not sure what you call this, Coach. It wasn't really a onside kick. It was a pooch kick that just it bounced the right way for you, Coach. It hit the spot, and then bounced right back into your player's hand.
Well, when we noticed in our game planning, we saw that between the 40 and the 30, they had a big space there. So if we could kick the ball, that guy would either have to step up or he would have to fair catch it. But if it hits the turf and it bounced the way you want it to bounce, it could bounce in our hand. And just so happened, those are one of those momentum changes that we wanted to do. Make sure we give ourselves a chance to be able to stay in a ball game. So we practiced these things, and we pulled it off today.
Well, here you go. Now you'll have it 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line. You'll have 2 incomplete passes, and then you'll hit Dante McCall for a 16-yard touchdown pass. And then one more time, you try to hit him, try to go back to McCall, but it's a penalty, a hold it on the good guys. And then on 1st and 20, ball at the 29-yard line, Jackson will line up one more time, and this time he'll hit Ronnie West, and he hits Ronnie West in stride right there on the seam. And Ronnie West gets a touchdown and now the score's 24-28, Coach.
Yes, it looked like the rain and it was going over away. The sun was starting to peek out, and I was starting to feel good that we could fight our way back in. My kids are buying into the process of not being results on it. Don't chase the scoreboard. Just keep playing football. I was very proud of them in those moments there.
There you go, Ronnie West making it. But I noticed you're playing a lot of people. Now, that Dante McCall, I wasn't familiar with Dante, but he got in the game, and he's making something happen. 16-yard touchdown catch.
First time
for
you've
himself.
seen Pender. Hadn't seen Pender all last year. I mean, that's the depth that we're trying to create. I told you we lost a lot of kids along the way. We've played a really tough schedule, a lot of physical ball clubs, and we've lost some people, but we still got people on that's been working and grinding, and now it's their turn to lead the team a little bit.
All right, here you go. Now you'll give it back to Benedict, and this time you'll kick off to Benedict. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 33, and I'm not quite sure what happened on this, but might have been a little bit of miscommunication in the secondary. They waste no time. A 67-yard touchdown pass. Ocean throws to Simmons, and now Benedict's back up 35-24. Now you get it back one more time. You'll have it 1:30 to go in the half. 1:30 to go in the half, and you try to see if you can move it down the field one more time. You'll get a couple of passes. You'll catch one by West. West will catch a pass for 9 yards. Then he'll catch another one for 13. And then a couple of incomplete passes. And then one more time that Benedict defense comes in and makes a sack. And then 4th and 17, you guys try to go for it with 6 seconds left on the clock. You're at the Benedict 35-yard line. Now that's a 51-yard field goal if you attempt it. So
we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. So I asked him. I said, he's kind of been the hamstring has been kind of tugging with him a little bit. So I told him we wasn't even gonna risk you on this. We'll just go for it. We're in that no man's zone. It wouldn't do any good to punt it, so we might as well just go for it.
And you try to go for it, but it's an incomplete pass to Ronnie West, and then you'll go into the half. The score be 35-24, 35-24 going into the half. Now, you showed you had some fight. Showed it wasn't much quitting you guys. So now you go into the half down 11. Well, since we're at the halftime break, we might as well take a little bit of time to talk about the Anthony Lawrence collection. Saw last week I had on the fresh white shirt with the Anthony Lawrence collection. Now I got on the hoodie, the short sleeve. See, I got the hoodie, man. Coach, man, I'm going to have to hang out with you more often, man. Coach, I'm out here, people telling me I look good in my clothes, Coach. It's the Anthony Lawrence collection. You can go and check them out at www.anthonylawrencecollection.com. Go and check him out. His Instagram page is The New College Flavor. And here's the thing about the Anthony Lawrence collection. Now, he does have a lot of he has a Clark Atlanta line. So if you're a Clark Atlanta fan, you can go and check out that Clark Atlanta line of clothing. But he has he's licensed with many other HBCUs. So whoever your favorite HBCU is, you can go and check him out. Check out the Anthony Lawrence collection and pick out your favorite HBCU. One of the things that he has out now, he has the Teddy Keaton line.
Yes, we do. We got the Be the Reason line.
Everybody's
out there. He got the shirts, the sweaters. He got the Panther logo on it with the Be the Reason on the sleeve. It's hot. It's hot out there. Shout out to Defron. Good job.
I tell you, man, we have to work on the Slider Sports Guy line. We need one of those, man. That's what the fans are really asking for, Coach.
Well, that's between you and Defron. Y'all got to get together and come up with an idea that's gonna work.
Oh, there you go. But shout out to the Anthony Lawrence collection. Go ahead, check them out so you can get some clothes and you can get out there on these streets. Looking good. I'll tell you, my wife ain't going to let me wear this too much, man. I'm getting too many compliments when I have on my Anthony Lawrence collection. All right, so now we'll start the second half, Coach. And second half was a rough one. You guys will get it. You get it because you deferred in the first half. So now the second half will start. And you actually put together a pretty good drive. You're moving the ball down the field, some complete passes here, complete passes there. Dante McCall gets a nice rush, picks up a first down for you. Xavier Jackson hits Ronnie West. They're moving it along. Then you'll hit Xavier Jackson hit Amon Harris for 21 yards. And then you get to the 44 and you kind of
You get a penalty.
yeah, you got a big penalty.
When you get the big penalty, and what we talk about it as a staff and as a players, and there's a lot of young guys playing, so we talk about staying on schedule. A lot of times with offense, you got to stay on schedule. It's kind of like playing baseball. You got to stay ahead of the pitch count. So what happened is when you do anything to get behind the 8 ball, and we did that, we got a penalty, which put us now in 1st and 15. And when you get in 1st and 15, young offensive line, young quarterback, a lot of young players trying to make decisions. That is Xavier's first full game as the starting quarterback. He has to process that. Now he gets a freshman and force himself into trying to make and get all 15 back at one time. So the saying around me is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
So we try to get him to see that, but, it puts him off schedule. He's working on that. These are things that we can work on with him and put him in those situations at practice so he'll know how to work his way out of them.
All right, so now you'll turn it over on downs. You'll get it back to Benedict, and Benedict wastes no time. Tristan Morgan, he'll get a 75-yard rushing touchdown, rushing around the end. Somebody missed out on the tackle, and there he goes, 75 yards down the field.
Now that's the one that took the life out of us right there. I think
hurt.
that one hurt. You were already down 11. You had one of those one-play hitter quitters that happened before halftime. Then you turn around and come out the gate to try to put yourself to close the gap. You get a penalty, you get off schedule, and then now they get the ball back, and in one play, they bust a 75-yard run touchdown. Now that puts them up by 18. And now you're playing come-behind football with a freshman quarterback, freshman O-lineman, trying to close the gap. And that's a mixture of a disaster right there. Anytime you get 18 points behind, you're almost forced to speed up your offense to have to make plays faster. And that was one of those situations we did not want to get in, that I thought that we would overcome. Right before the half, I thought we had closed the gap enough that we didn't put the pressure back on the young freshman to have to pick us up from 18. If we have a David Wright or maybe a Zy McDonald, that could have been erased a lot faster. But with a guy like him who's still learning how to make his reads, where he's going with the ball, that's a lot of pressure to put on a 17-year-old kid.
That is a lot of pressure to put on a kid. And here's also, you got a lot of pressure on that freshman quarterback, but you kind of spoke of it. You got freshman offensive linemen. You got freshman receivers out there playing. I think running back might have been the only player. Well, you did have Miller out there playing running back. Yes. So you get freshmen all on the field.
I mean, those guys are now they've been forced to have to play. We've lost a lot of guys, a lot of upperclassmen that are hurt, and some of them are done for the season. And that puts a lot of pressure on those guys. Not saying that it won't build them good character for the future, but at the same time, it doesn't help the current situation of our management of the game and trying to keep them where it doesn't get to become a blowout. And when it gets to that point, and you're talking about, a guy who they tried to play basic defense, and he was picking them apart. So that you left them no other choice to either, I'm not going to let this freshman quarterback pick us apart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some heat on him and make him get it out of his hands, and that's exactly what they did.
All right, well, Benedict will get it back off after the turnover on downs. After the turnover on downs, they'll get it. No, I'm sorry, after they score the touchdown, Clark will get it back. And then Clark, they'll try to move the ball down the field. 1st and 10 at the 19. Dante McCall getting his number called a lot this one, and he'll run for 5 yards. Then another complete pass to Sellers, and now you got first and 10. Now you'll move it one more time with Riggins. Riggins will get it, and then you'll kind of get put into a bad space at second and six, and then you'll have a delay of game penalty. I'm sorry, it was 3rd and 6. You had the delay of game penalty. And then that moves it to 3rd and 11. And then it's another sack, and that takes you back to 4th and 18, and you got to punt it away. That speaking, and these are all quite these are all things, the delay of game. I hate to put stuff on youth, but the more experience you get in there, the more ready you are with that play calling, so you can get that play off a little bit quicker. If you have a veteran guy, and you're throwing this young guy in the fire, Coach. He's learning by fire, and he seems like he's accepting the challenge.
He has. I mean, I think he's done a good job. But you got to ask yourself now, when he's that age, he's 17. He's not 18, he's 17. And at 17 years old, trying to process all of that, your team, the quarterback's going to catch most of the blame for a lot of things, but just to make sure everybody's where they need to be, where he got, and then he got to take a chance to process where he might want to go with his pre-snap read, what he see based off the coverage. And I think he just got into a little daze. Now, remember, he had just took a sack. Yeah. The play before that was a pretty significant hit. Then he turns around and he takes another one because he was unsure of himself at that time, because he wants to put the pressure on him to make the right play. And it just didn't come out the way he wanted it to.
There you go. Well, Benedict will get the ball back one more time. This time it'll be first and 10 at the 42-yard line. And Benedict, they'll try to move the ball down the field. They'll give the Panther defense will give up 2 first downs, and Benedict will get the ball down to the 12-yard line. But the defense holds, though. The defense holds, and Benedict has to settle for a field goal. Now, when you look at the point total of the game, Coach, you see a lot of points on the board, but your defense didn't really do a bad job, Coach. Your defense didn't give up a lot of points. Your defense, is everything else that gave up the points, Coach.
Well, most of the offensive miscues came from the offensive side of the ball this week. And it wasn't that, I don't like you said, I don't like to blame it on the kids. But a lot of it's youth. A lot of new players playing, which we hadn't turned the ball over a lot, this year. But it's a lot on the kids. I'm telling you, those kids are now straight coming out of high school to go against a huge athletic D-line from Benedict, who's probably got the top defense in the conference right now.
Without a doubt.
And they had to go against my quarterback having to go through a fierce opponent like that at this pivotal time in the season, which I really felt sorry for him. And, one of my friends said, I saw you on the sideline and you never looked mad or you wasn't angry. I said, I was frustrated. I was frustrated more for the kid. When you put those guys in that type of situation, you can do 2 things to those kids. Either they're going to build character or you're going to destroy their confidence. To go against talent like number 1, number 0, number 5, I don't know their names, but those guys were fast, physical, big, and they was running all kind of games and stunts and very seasoned at doing it. They grad transfers, they seniors, they juniors. Those guys are really good football players. And then, mastering your craft at that tackle spot is not easy, not even from no level, from high school to college to the NFL. It's a really hard task to master the tackle area. Guard is a little bit more pivotal to play, but tackles, it takes them a minute to get comfortable and learn how to make their moves, how to set them up. And I think that was a lot of pressure. Then you take the quarterback, for an example. He got to know that his tackle over there is just as young as he is, and he don't know if he going to be able to make that block or what stunt going to come on to him. And I still got to read the progression down the field. And, they forcing him one way and bringing pressure another way. All that's a seasoned quarterback kind of can figure his way through that. But being your first game, I was kind of frustrated, and I thought that, I didn't want to get him hurt.
Well, there you have it now. Clark Atlanta will get the ball back. Clark Atlanta will have the ball after that hold by the defense. And then they'll start to try to move the ball down the field. They'll pick up a first down here. They'll start off with Amon Harris with an 11-yard reception. He'll pick up a first down. And then they'll go back to Amon Harris one more time, and he'll pick up another first down. And then you get an unsportsmanlike conduct from Benedict that'll give you a first down. So you're advancing the ball down the field. You're advancing it down the field. 2nd and 10 at the 25, and then that'll be the end of the quarter. You'll go into the 4th quarter, and then one more time at 3rd and 10, it's an incomplete pass, and then on 4th and 11, you go for it at the 26, and he is sacked for a 13-yard loss, and the ball popped out on a fumble. Clark recovered the fumble, but
It
just
did.
break down on the block.
And you think about it, when you got to go on those long and you end up in a 3rd and 11 situation, and the quarterback, you can't throw just a short pass. You got to get to the sticks. So that route's going to take a little longer to develop. So, like I said, not being able to stay on schedule or get a penalty here that would cause you a bad play to put you behind off schedule, and that happened. And I think my guy tried his best to hold on to give a route time enough to clear. They just beat the defensive lineman, beat him there faster than he could get the ball there. He got popped, and when he got popped from behind, the ball came out. Literally, I thought he was hurt, because he took a good one on the shot, and I looked at him, and he got back up. He's a true warrior. I'm proud of the young man. I couldn't ask for no better performance from a 17-year-old.
Exactly. Well, Benedict will have it 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line, at their 39-yard line. They'll run the ball. They'll try to take Tristan Morgan and try to let him pound his way through to pick up some yards. He'll get 1 first down, but the defense holds. One more time, the defense holds and forces a punt. And once again, the defense is playing. When people look at the scoreboard, they'll say Clark Atlanta doesn't play any defense. But when you actually look at the game, defense had a pretty good game. Defense had a pretty good game. They'll force the punt, and then they'll give it back to Clark Atlanta. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 14 at Clark's 14-yard line. We'll go 2 plays, complete a short pass to David Martin, then an incomplete pass, and then they completed a short pass for a loss. Completed a short pass for a loss to David Martin. Then an incomplete pass, and then on 2nd and 15, interception went back to the house. Pick six.
We call that freshman eyes.
Uh-oh.
He had freshman eyes by that time. He had been hit 3 or 4 times. He'd been popped. He wasn't able to sit comfortably back there. Then you got him in another long down situation where he has to hold on to the ball to try to get it to his route. The route doesn't get there fast enough. He got to throw it, and he threw it off the back foot so he wouldn't get sacked for a safety or fumble the ball in the end zone. He threw it, and I think the DB read it all away, and he just stepped in front of it, and he picked it and took it to the crib. Again, I can't be mad at him. We're backed up in our end zone. He hadn't had but a week of really playing the position at practice. Those situations we practice at practice, but it takes times and repetition to get comfortable in those spots, and he'll grow from these lessons that he just learned.
Well, speaking of lessons, we'll start the next drive. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line. You'll hand it off to Riggins. Riggins will pick up 7. Riggins having a pretty decent game so far. Then Jackson, he's still slinging the ball. He'll complete a short pass to Watson Davis Jr.
Watson Davis Jr.
It's another guy getting some playing time this game.
That's his spot played a little bit through the season, but not as much as we need him now. He's a guy that has had to step in and make some plays, an upperclassman that has been pretty much, not out there, but he's doing a good job. Been with us. He transferred in with us from Allen. So a good guy.
All right. Now you'll have 1st and 10. Dante McCall, he'll rush for 2 yards. Then you'll throw an incomplete pass. And then Jackson drops back the pass, and he is hit hard. Demetrius Patterson got him and hit him hard. And Isaiah Stevens picks up the ball and runs 44 yards for a touchdown. And that'll give us the final score of 59-24, Coach. Your young freshman, he got some learning lessons today.
He did.
He got some learning lessons.
I think the freshman O-lineman, I think the running backs, I think everybody got a lesson today. And as you can see, the defense didn't. They played pretty good. They had a pretty good day at their office. You take away 5 plays from that game, the game easily 24-31.
Easily. We go and look at some of the stats for the game. Defense gave up a total of 350 yards, total offense. Passing was 10 for 22 for 216 yards. So did a really good job of controlling Ocean in the passing game. But those big plays, like you said, a big play here, a big play
We
there.
outgained them in every place. We got more first downs than they did. We controlled the clock a lot better. The big plays is what gave us up the missed opportunities. I think we ended up Xavier at 17. He threw for 388 yards at one setting.
Let's go and pull up Xavier Jackson. Pull up Xavier Jackson and his stats. You go and look at the young freshman. He was 28 for 47, 388 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. 388 yards, Coach. Your first game starting, you throw for 388 yards. That's impressive, Coach.
I'm impressed with him. Very impressed. I was, like I said, other than his turnovers when he got sacked, and that's not all his fault. The scooping scores that he got hit real hard. I thought he did a really good job of managing the game, trying to get there, and the pressure that they placed on it with the turnover, scooping scores really hurt us from the O-line perspective and the quarterback perspective. Running backs not picking up blocks sometimes. There's a lot of things that we got to work on, and good thing we're at the bye week that we get a chance to get a lot of this stuff, coach stuff. A lot of these things are correctable situations, but when you go in and you play a game, you lose your quarterback in the first half of the Allen game, and you put 2 quarterbacks and we waste 3 drives with 2 quarterbacks where we got absolutely nothing, and we go to the guy that was predicted to be the future of our program, and maybe we didn't want to play him so fast. We lost in a total of 2 weeks 8 guys. So now you go out and you put these guys out there, and they haven't played a snap or football. Most of they've seen is the scout team. So now he goes out in his first and put us in position to almost beat Allen. And we were in that position because we lost Zai in the first quarter. First touchdown, first drive of scrimmage, we lose Zai. You go in with the Kai Brown, and Kai kind of struggled. He's the guy that you would have thought that would have had the degree of consistency to be able to come in and run the program. Now you have to go to Xavier, and Xavier is the guy that you was like, we're going to let him grow up. We're going to let him get some weight room. We see all those things on the practice field that he does well, and then he had to come in and do it. My hat goes off to the young man. He was put in a position. Now he goes up against 3-0 Benedict, who has one of the top defenses in our conference.
Oh, yeah.
And now he goes out and he throws for 388 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That's to be commended for a guy who threw the ball 47 times.
Yep.
He only threw 1 interception. Now he got in trouble that wasn't all his fault with the sacks. That caused him to get hit from his blind side. The ball hits the ground, they pick it up, they scoop and score. Those things happen, and he'll grow from these things. These lessons he'll grow. But I don't think anybody in America, they would have took that production. That was NFL numbers.
That was, man. They were impressive numbers by the young freshman. Now he had some targets. He had some targets that he threw to some of his receivers who stepped up and had a big game. Amon Harris, he had 7 receptions for 75 yards. Ronnie West, he had 6 receptions for 75 yards and a touchdown. But the young freshman, Krishan Sellers, he had 6 receptions, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also returned the ball seven times for 129 yards, and he had a few tackles on the kickoff team. I mean, did Krishan Sellers come off the field, Coach?
Travis Hunter. We got to just give him a shot at DB, and maybe he might do that. My hat goes off to those young men. They stepped up in critical situations, knowing the state of the team, knowing that there's guys on the team that could, that would have possibly made some of these games a little differently. But these guys stepped up and they played good football. You got to give your hat off there. I think Krishan haven't even turned 18 yet either. And they out there playing with their young bodies, haven't even spent the whole season in a college weight room, to get there. So they come straight out of high school, and now they're in their 5th game of college football, and they're starting, and they're putting up numbers. So I'm very proud of those guys. And, that's just – the gift of recruiting and finding good players, and also working hard to be in 4 or 5 weeks to learn the offensive system and do what they need to do to add value. They've created value for themselves as individuals to help the team as a collective.
All right. The rushers, Allen Riggins, he had 15 carries for 71 yards, and Jeremiah Gibbs had 9 carries for 33. We're gonna get Riggins to 100 yards, Coach. We got to get Riggins.
We're trying to get Riggins there. Riggins got to work at that level to get that 100 yards and quit tripping over his own shoelaces. But I think he's doing a good job. And over the years, we have not seen. I told you we work consciously to want to run the football, and I think we're doing a good job with that to make it where we can have a balanced offense attack. And you used to not having them numbers. It used to be 15 carries for 12 yards or 1 carry for that. And I'm very proud of the production of those units. You take the mistakes away, and both losses that we just taken, if you take the mistakes away, those games might go in our favor. But when you're playing with young kids and they learning the game, they still trying to make it, and you go against seasoned teams, it becomes very difficult to help them grow up any faster than they gonna learn with a lesson.
Yeah, I say when we look at this game was basically 5 plays, Coach. You take 5 plays away, you erase 5 plays, you got a completely different ball game. Now, Coach, we highlighted some of the stats that the people that your team had. And so what we want to do now, we want to kind of bring in a new segment. We want to bring Genesis in. And Genesis, we're going to sit down and talk about one of the performers of the week, Coach. Who do you think had a pretty decent game? So after this little break, brought to you by the Anthony Lawrence Collection, we're going to bring in Genesis, and she'll talk about the performer of the game.
Thank you, Sly. Hi, I'm Genesis Utopia. We are introducing a new segment where I'm going to allow Coach Keaton to just say who his honorable mentions are from the game. We are here to discuss this past game against Benedict, where despite the weekend's events, Coach, we still have some new components that were introduced into the team. And speaking of new components, Coach, I wanted to know, who are your honorable mentions? Who do you feel like left it all out on the red carpet this past weekend?
Christian Sellers, no doubt, offensively played in all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. My hat goes off to that young man. Didn't know we played him as much as we did. And there's another freshman that played his best. He gave up a big play one time, but other than that, KJ Houston out of Austin, Texas, he did a really good job at playing the corner spot as a true freshman, and he played in all special teams the whole 9 throughout the whole game. Those are my 2 players that I felt that my hat goes off to this week.
Yes, sir, Coach. And let's talk conversion rates. 3rd and 4th conversion rates. Let's talk about how everybody feels like you guys are giving up a lot of rushing yards this season, especially these past 2 games. How do you feel your honorable mentions could contribute to turning that around for y'all this season?
Neither one of those guys play in those positions to be able to help. We need our linebacker, Cordize Cersei. We need Cersei to step up and have a better game. Boone, those guys did better this week at learning their position and knowing what to do, how to do it, and why it's important for them to do it that way. And I think that over time, as the team gets comfortable and they get settled in, and I think the reason why sometimes we was giving up a lot of rushing yards simply because they got tired. They were getting tired. They're getting extra when offenses are able to extend their drives past 1 first down, 2 first downs, 3, you got to get a new group in, and that's something we did this week to help out our team. We rotated guys in and got them more playing time. They had to be able to contribute to the team to help us out.
Yes, sir. Okay. And yes, you have a reputation of course, keeping the ball rolling, like you said earlier with Sly. You were talking about how you're trying to change the mindset of CAU's athletes and focus on moving forward during the game rather than rolling over. How do you attack changing preconceived concepts about your team this season, previous seasons, especially now that you are head coach going into your 2nd season here?
I tell them, this is like our first season. We influxed a lot of kids in that came from my previous program who already understood what it took to win, which invaded into Clark Atlanta, and we were able to go all the way to the championship. So look at it as this. It's more like our first season now, because now we're laying the foundation with those freshmen and sophomores that we brought in so we could create a foundation that would change the culture. We had some upperclassmen that were still in this group, but a lot of them have gotten hurt over the course of the last 4 or 5 games we've played. So now those freshmen are having to step in a lot faster than we expected them to. So I think that you have to be a process-oriented person. You can't be results oriented. A lot of times people get results oriented. You'll be disappointed. I tell people, don't live your life in comparison, because that's the thief of all joy. So when you look at what happened last year, what happened 20 years ago, that has no bearings on what's going to happen today. So our kids have to focus on what I call a win factor, what's important now. Everything that we do is about what we can do and what we can control. I think a lot of our kids are now focusing on what they can control. They can't listen to the outside. I think I heard it somewhere where I think T.I. said this: if you live for the applause, you'll die for the boos.
Love you some T.I.
So when I say that people shouldn't live for the applause, and we teach our kids that don't live for the pats on the back, the things, because there's going to come some moments and some opportunities, and we're in that period right now that there's some moments and some opportunities that people are going to say things that's going to be hurtful. There's going to be things that people are going to say about you because last year you was riding the high wave, now you in that valley. And when we're in the valley, this is what makes us stronger. These are the things that's going to help the team grow. Now, through adversity, is going to figure out whether your character is going to show up and how you're going to believe in the team, or is your selfishness going to come out and it's going to be about you. So we'll figure that out in this valley. So when we come out the valley, we'll know who the people that need to be with us, because they'll know how to overcome adversity at any moment in time.
Yes, and shout out to those freshmen, shout out to those sophomores, the babies who are coming up in this league. Anything that you want to leave to them going into this bye week, Coach?
No, we just want to get better. Every day we got to get better. We got to work on us. It's never about our opponent. It's about what we do, what we bring. We created opportunities for them to have the opportunity to take advantage of us, to be able to put us in a position in those scores. You can't turn the ball over. You can't leave points out there. You can't make stupid penalties. You can't jump off sides. All those things are mental errors, and that's the responsibility of us as the leaders, as coaches. That's our job, to get the best out of our kids. And if they can't continue to do that, then we got to find people to replace them. But our kids understand that we believe in them. We want them to be, and I expect CAU Nation to stand behind them and believe in those young men, because even in life they're going to go through a part of adversity. This is going to teach them how to overcome adversity. Just because things went bad doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We got to pick the pieces up and figure out how to move forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Sly.
All right. Thank you, Genesis. Thank you, Genesis. Now we're back here live on the Teddy Keaton Show, the Coach Teddy Keaton Show. Well, Coach, Benedict's done. It's over with, out of the way. Now we go on to the bye week, Coach. You're going to let hopefully some of the injuries heal on up, and you let the kids rest, let them get a chance to take the weekend off, I guess, go back home and kiss the girlfriend back home, and then come on back for business. What's the schedule like?
We going to practice.
Oh, going to practice.
I mean, we got work to do. We got a lot of things we can teach, a lot of things that we can shore up. There's a lot of things that we need to work on so that we can eliminate those mistakes. There's a process. We got to, I know it's fall break coming up. It's midterm week. And a lot of the kids want to go home after they take their midterms. But I told them, you signed up to play football for Teddy Keaton, and during this time, we got to go to work, and we got things to do. So we're gonna spend our bye week and be productive and try to get those kids that can play, that's going to be playing for us, get them through some situations to help them shore up themselves as players, and then, get through some processes that we need to do on some special team things to shore up, to get all the right people there, because we don't have the pressure of preparing for a game. We just got the pressure of getting ourselves ready for our next opponent, which is a big test for us. But we're not going to spend the week working on our next opponent. This week is going to be about us. It's about us coming together as a team. It's about overcoming the adversity that we've worked on, just getting a new mold for a new 58, what I call it, the new 58, because the 58 that we started with ain't the same 58 that we're going to finish with right now. And so we're going to have to get them in a position to be able to, believe in the team, believe in what we're selling, and making sure that they can get to where we're trying to go in the end.
All right. Well, that makes sense, Coach. That makes sense. Well, it is the Coach Teddy Keaton Show. I am Sylvester Williams. He is Coach Teddy Keaton. And we'll see you back next week. We'll talk about the off week here on the Coach Teddy Keaton Show on HBCU Game Day.